You ever witness something so small, so unnecessary that it just sticks with you? Like, nothing dramatic, no fight, no big scene, just one moment where someone shows you exactly who they are. And it ruins your whole day. That's what this was. A state fair. Summer heat. Families everywhere. And one grown man, who decided yelling at a 3-year-old girl was somehow justified. What he didn't realize, I was standing right next to him. And I don't let things like that slide. Intro CTA. Before we get into this, if you enjoy real, cinematic revenge stories that actually feel real, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below. Was I wrong, or did he deserve it? Because by the end of this story, you're gonna have an opinion. Story, detailed, cinematic setup. Last summer felt like one of those slow, golden summers where everything just kind of drifts by. Not in a bad way, just calm. I wasn't doing anything big with my life at the time. No crazy goals, no huge plans. Just working, saving money, and trying to enjoy the little things when I could. Weekends were my reset. Sleep in a bit. Grab something cold to drink. Maybe go out, maybe not. And that particular weekend, I remember I almost didn't go out at all. It was one of those heavy summer days, the kind where the air feels thick, like it's sitting on your shoulders. Even the sunlight feels slower. But then I saw a post online. The state fair was back. Now, I hadn't been to the fair in years. Like actual years. But something about it hit me. Maybe it was nostalgia. Maybe it was boredom. Or maybe I just needed to be around people for a bit. So I went. Setting the scene. The second I got there, it hit me all at once. Noise. Color. Movement. Kids running everywhere. Parents chasing after them. Couples holding hands. Groups of teenagers laughing way too loud. The smell of fried food basically slapped you in the face the moment you walked in. Funnel cakes. Corn dogs. Popcorn. That weird mix of sugar and grease that somehow just works at a fair. There were rides spinning overhead, lights flashing even in the daytime, music playing from different directions, none of it matching but somehow blending together. And for a second, I just stood there, watching, because fairs do something weird to people. They bring out this unfiltered version of everyone. Kids are louder. Adults are more relaxed. People smile more, even if they don't realize it. It's like everyone's just a little more human. And honestly, I needed that. Small moments. I didn't rush into anything. I just walked, slowly, past the game booths where people were trying way too hard to win stuffed animals. Past the food stands where workers were shouting out deals like it was a competition. Past the rides where kids were either screaming in excitement or absolute terror. I even stopped at one of the lemonade stands. Watched the guy squeeze fresh lemons like his life depended on it. Something about that kind of simple effort, it's weirdly calming. I grabbed a drink and kept moving. No plan. No rush. Just existing. Inner thoughts. You ever have those moments where you're surrounded by noise, but your head is quiet? That's where I was. Just observing. Not judging anyone. Not thinking too hard. Just there. And that's probably why what happened next hit me so hard. Because it broke that calm instantly. The butter sculpture. Eventually, I made my way into one of the indoor exhibit. It was cooler inside, thank God. Air conditioning, softer lighting, a little less chaos. That's where they had the more traditional, fair stuff. Local craft, art displays. And then, I saw it. The butter sculpture. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous. It kind of is. But if you've ever seen one in person, you get it. It's not just a block of butter. It's this insanely detailed sculpture, carved perfectly, sitting behind glass. This one was on a rotating platform, slowly turning. One side, then the other. Two completely different scenes carved into it. People were gathered around, watching it like it was some kind of masterpiece. And honestly, it kind of was. Observation. I stepped closer, just watching it turn. There was something oddly satisfying about it. The slow movement, the detail. The way people just pause to look at it. That's when I noticed him. The old guy. He was standing right next to me. Phone out. Recording. Not casually either. He was locked in. Like this video mattered. Like this was something he needed to capture perfectly. He barely moved. Barely blinked. Just waiting for the sculpture to rotate so he could get both sides. And I remember thinking, alright dude. Serious about your butter video, huh? I didn't think much of it. At first. The little girl enters. Then, out of nowhere, you hear it. That quick, light sound of tiny footstep. And this little girl, couldn't have been older than 3, runs up to the glass. Just pure excitement. No hesitation. She presses her hands against it. Leans her face close. Eyes wide. Like she just discovered something magical. And I don't know why. But I smiled. Because that's real. That's what the fair is supposed to be. Not perfect videos. Not curated moments. That right there. That excitement. That's the whole point. And for a second, everything felt right again. Tension builds. But then, I noticed movement beside me. The old guy. His posture changed. His shoulders stiffened. His phone shifted slightly. Like something just annoyed him. And I remember thinking, seriously? He hadn't said anything yet. But you could feel it. That quiet irritation. That entitlement. Like this tiny child. Was somehow ruining something for him. Internal reaction. And that's when my mood shifted. Just slightly. Because I've seen that look before. That look people get when they think the world should just move around them. Adjust for them. Be convenient for them. Even in a place meant for families. For kids. I glanced over at the girl again. Still smiling. Still completely unaware. And then I looked back at him. And I had this feeling. This small, growing feeling in my chest. Like, please don't say anything. Slow moment before the incident. The sculpture kept turning. Slow. Quiet. The room felt still. The girl was just there. Enjoying it. Her mom was a few steps back, watching her. Relaxed. Trusting the space. And the old guy? Still recording. Still waiting. Still getting more and more visibly annoyed. His jaw tightened. His grip on the phone got firmer. And I swear, you could feel it coming. That moment. That unnecessary, pointless moment. That was about to ruin everything. Cliffhanger ending, stop point. I shifted my weight slightly, still watching him out of the corner of my eye. The girl giggled softly as the sculpture turned. Her hands pressed against the glass. Completely harmless. Completely innocent. And then, the old man suddenly inhaled sharply. Opened his mouth. And turned toward her. The second he opened his mouth, I already knew. This was about to go too far. And once he said it, there was no way I was just going to stand there and let it happen. Short CTA. If you've ever seen someone cross a line like this, drop a comment right now. I would have done the same. Because what happened next? It escalated way faster than I expected. Story continues. Jesus Christ, get out of the way. The words didn't just come out. They cut through the room. Sharp, loud, ugly. Everything just stopped for a second. It wasn't shouting like panic. It was worse. It was that irritated, aggressive tone people use when they think they're justified. Like he genuinely believed he had every right to say it. The immediate impact. The little girl froze. Completely froze. Her hands slowly slid down the glass, like she wasn't even sure what she did wrong. Her smile disappeared so fast it was almost painful to watch. And her eyes. That confusion. That sudden, silent question. Did I do something bad? That's what got me. Not the yelling. Not the guy. That look. The MOM. Her mom stepped in immediately. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Her voice had that forced politeness. That embarrassed tone people use when they're trying to defuse something that shouldn't even be happening. She gently pulled her daughter back. It's okay, honey, let's just, come here. The girl didn't argue, didn't complain, just stepped back quietly, still looking at the sculpture, but now from a distance, like she wasn't allowed to enjoy it anymore. Internal snap, and that's when something in me flipped, not explosively, not instantly, but like a switch, a very calm, very controlled kind of anger, because I've seen this before. People who ruin small moments for others, because they think their experience matters more. And I just stood there for a second, watching him, waiting, hoping, maybe, he'd realize how unnecessary that was. Maybe he'd at least look a little embarrassed. Maybe he'd say something like, "Sorry, I didn't mean to snap." Anything human. But he didn't. He didn't even glance at them. Didn't acknowledge it. Didn't soften. He just adjusted his phone, kept recording, like nothing happened, like that little moment, that tiny bit of joy he just crushed, didn't matter at all. The decision. And that's when I knew. Yeah, no. This guy doesn't get to walk away from that like it's nothing. I didn't even think of it as revenge at first. Not really. It was more like balance, like the universe was slightly off, and someone needed to correct it. The setup, the sculpture kept rotating. Slow. Predictable. I noticed something. He had only recorded one side so far. The side that was already facing us earlier. Which meant he was waiting for it to complete the rotation, so he could capture the other side, the important part, the part he clearly didn't want ruined. And I just stood there, timing it, watching the angle, watching his phone, watching his focus. He was completely locked in again, like nothing else existed, calm before action. My heart wasn't racing, I wasn't shaking. That's the weird part. I was calm, almost too calm, like I already knew exactly what I was going to do. And there was no hesitation left. I took a slow breath, shifted my stance slightly, and waited. The moment arrives. The sculpture turned. Bit by bit, the new side started coming into view. More detailed, more intricate. You could tell. This was the side he really wanted. His phone adjusted slightly. He leaned just a little forward, trying to get the perfect angle, perfect framing, perfect uninterrupted shot. The move. And that's when I stepped forward. Not suddenly, not aggressively, just naturally, like I was just another person walking by. But I positioned myself, perfectly, right in front of his camera, blocking everything, prolonging it, and I didn't rush. That's the key part. I walked slowly, just slow enough to completely ruin the shot. Every second of it, the entire rotation, gone. His reaction, delayed. At first, nothing, like his brain hadn't caught up yet. Then I heard it, a sharp exhale, a shift in movement. His arm jerked slightly, trying to adjust, trying to see around me. But there was no angle, no workaround. I made sure of that. The confrontation. "You're a real asshole, you know that?" His voice was right behind me. Louder now, angrier, but not yelling like before. This was personal, directed, focused. The turn. I stopped, turned slowly, looked him straight in the eyes, and for a split second, he expected something else. An apology, an excuse, something weak. The response. Instead, I said, "Dude, what does that make you?" He blinked, caught off guard. I didn't give him time to recover. "You just yelled at a little girl, because you needed your video that bad?" His body language. He stiffened. His mouth opened slightly, then closed, like he didn't have an immediate comeback ready. Which told me everything. Because people like him, they're used to not being challenged. His deflection. "Well, you're still an asshole." But it didn't land the same way. Not anymore. There was something weaker in it. Something defensive. False victory. And I just laughed. Not loudly. Not mockingly. Just enough. Enough to show. This didn't affect me. At all. And then I turned. and walked away. The moment that made it worth it. As I stepped away, I glanced over. The mom. She was watching, and she smiled. Not a small smile. A real one. She gave me a slight nod, and mouthed, "Thank you." And that was it. That was the moment. That feeling? That quiet acknowledgement? Yeah. That made everything worth it. Walking away. I kept walking, blending back into the crowd. The noise of the fair slowly taking over again. Kids laughing. Music playing. Everything returning to normal. And in my head, it was already over. Done. Finished. A small moment. Handled. First strange event. But then, about maybe a minute later, I noticed something. Footstep. Behind me. Not unusual at a fair. Except, they didn't fade. They stayed. Same pace. Same distance. Second thought. I slowed slightly. The footsteps slowed too. I turned casually, like I was just looking around. And I saw him. The old guy. Not close. But not far either. Watching. Second event, worse. I turned forward again. Kept walking. Took a different path. Weaved through a few people. Stopped briefly at a booth. Pretended to look at something. Waited. Then moved again. And again. There he was. Still there. Still following. Third event, panic starts. That calm feeling? Gone. Replaced by something else. Not fear exactly. But tension. That subtle, creeping realization that something isn't right. I pulled my phone out. Pretended to check something. Used the screen reflection. And yet, he was definitely watching me. Confusion builds. Why? Over that? Seriously? It was a small moment. A petty move at best. Most people would have just walked away. Maybe cursed under their breath. Maybe complained. But follow? That didn't make sense. Realization builds. And then it hit me. Slowly. Piece by piece. The way he didn't react properly earlier. The way he didn't argue. Didn't escalate. Didn't defend himself. That wasn't normal. People like him? They explode. They don't hold back. Final moment, stop point. I stopped walking completely. Turned slightly. Just enough to see him clearly this time. And he didn't look angry. Didn't look embarrassed. Didn't look defeated. He just stood there. Watching me. Calm. Still. Almost patient. And that's when it clicked. This wasn't over. Not even close. Because if he wasn't reacting, if he wasn't arguing, if he wasn't escalating, then that meant one thing. You know that feeling when you think a situation is over. You walk away, satisfied, maybe even a little proud of yourself, and then slowly, piece by piece, you realize you didn't end anything. You just started something. And the other person? They were never reacting. Because they were already thinking 10 steps ahead. I stood there, watching him, and the longer I looked, the more wrong it felt, because anger is easy to read. Frustration, embarrassment, ego, those things show on people's faces instantly. But this wasn't that. He looked calm, too calm. Slow realization. I replayed everything in my head. The yelling, the little girl, my move. His reaction, or more accurately, his lack of reaction. He didn't step forward, didn't argue, didn't try to get the last word, didn't even follow me aggressively. He just stayed there, watching, like he was waiting, and suddenly, that win I felt started to feel off, like something unfinished. Trying to dismiss it, I told myself I was overthinking it. It's nothing. He's just a weird guy. Let it go. So I turned again. Walked faster this time. Blended deeper into the crowd. Took turns. Past food stands. Cut through a group of people. I even stepped into another building for a minute. Just to break line of sight. But that feeling didn't go away. You know that feeling? When your brain keeps poking at something like, "Hey, you missed something." The first crack. About 10 minutes later, I pulled out my phone. Not for anything serious. Just instinct. Maybe to distract myself. But the second the screen lit up, I froze. My camera app was open, recording, and I know for a fact, I didn't open it. At first I thought, okay, maybe I accidentally tapped it. Happens all the time. No big deal. So I stopped the recording, went to delete it. But then I noticed something else. There were multiple recordings. Not just one. Short clips. Angles that didn't make sense. And then I opened one. The video. It was me. From behind. Walking in front of him. Blocking his camera. Clear. Centered. Perfectly framed. My stomach dropped. Connecting the dots. That's when everything started clicking together. Too smoothly. Too cleanly. Like pieces of a puzzle locking into place. He wasn't trying to record the sculpture. Not really. That was just bait. A setup. A reason to hold his phone steady. To justify filming. And when the moment happened, he didn't need to react. He already had what he wanted. Second wave, worse. I backed out of the video. Hands slightly tighter around my phone now. Check the rest. There were more clips. Different angles. Different moments. Even one where I turned and spoke to him. Clear audio. My voice. My face. Everything. And suddenly, that calm confidence I had earlier? Gone. Replaced with something colder. Heavier. Chaos begins. My mind started racing. Why record this? What is he going to do with it? Is he going to post it? Report it? Twist it? Because context matters. And without context, I just looked like some random guy. Walking in front of someone's camera. Then turning around and confronting them. The message. And then, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. That alone wouldn't be weird. But the timing? Yeah, no. I stared at it for a second. Debated ignoring it. But something told me, don't. So I opened it. One message. No greeting. No explanation. Just a video file. My heart sank. Because I already knew. It was the same clip. But edited. The edit. The video started after the girl had already been pulled away. No yelling. No context. No reason. Just me. Walking directly in front of him. Blocking the camera. Turning around. And speaking. But even that was cut. Trimmed. Shortened. So it looked like this. I walk in front. He says, "You're a real asshole." And I immediately snap back at him. That's it. Third event, panic. My chest tightened. Because I could already imagine how this would look online. Out of context. Some random guy harassing an older man. Being aggressive. Being rude. And then, another message. Text this time. Funny how perspective works, doesn't it? I didn't even realize I stopped walking. I was just standing there now. In the middle of the fair. Noise all around me. But everything felt distant. Full realization. This wasn't random. This wasn't emotional. This was calculated. From the start. The yelling? Maybe real. Maybe not. But everything after? Controlled. Measured. Intentional. He didn't react. Because he didn't need to. Emotional breakdown. And the worst part? I played right into it. Perfectly. I gave him exactly what he needed. A clean moment. A clear reaction. A villain. I leaned against a nearby wall. Trying to process it. Trying to slow everything down. But my thoughts just kept stacking. Faster. Heavier. What if he uploads it? What if people see it? What if it spreads? Because stuff like that, it spreads fast. And once it does, you don't control the story anymore. The drop. That earlier moment. That feeling of satisfaction. Of doing the right thing. It twisted. Turned into doubt. Then regret. Not because I defended the girl. No. That part still felt right. But the way I did it, the impulsiveness, the assumption, the lack of awareness, that's what got me. Acceptance phase. After a while, I stopped pacing. Stopped checking my phone. Stopped trying to fix it instantly. Because there was nothing to fix. Not yet. So I just breathed and accepted something simple. I lost control of the situation. The moment I reacted, twist, respect, and as frustrating as it was, I had to admit something. He was smart. Not good. Not right. But smart. He understood something I didn't in that moment. That reactions are more powerful than actions. He didn't need to win the argument. He just needed me to react. And I did. Exactly how he wanted. Chaos fades. Time passed. Minute. Maybe longer. I don't even remember. The fair kept going. People laughing. Kids playing. Life moving on like nothing happened. And eventually, the noise came back. The world felt normal again. But I wasn't the same. Not quite. Final reflection. Because that day taught me something I didn't expect. Not about revenge. Not about standing up for people. But about control. About how easy it is to feel right and still walk into something bigger than you. Sometimes the loudest person isn't the one in control. Sometimes it's the quiet one. The one watching. Waiting. Final line. Because in the end, I thought I was teaching him a lesson. But really? He taught me one. Final CTA. If this made you think, even a little, hit like, subscribe, and comment. Was he wrong or was I just too quick to react? Because not every villain looks like one at first. And not every win is actually a win.